Every minute, the world dumps over 1 million plastic bottles into landfills and oceans. That's 20,000 per second. And the scary part? Most of those bottles will never break down completely. But here's the kicker, you can change that. Small actions in your everyday life, things you might not even think twice about, can make a huge impact. In this video, we're going to explore how individual choices, like what you buy, what you eat, and how you get around, play a massive role in the fight for a sustainable future. And trust me, you don't have to become a full-time eco-warrior to make a difference. It starts with simple shifts, things you can start today. We'll break down easy steps anyone can take, and why your actions really do matter. Ready to find out how? Let's dive in. Chapter 1: The Ripple Effect. How one action can spark global change. Sustainability isn't just a collective effort, it starts with you. Small changes in your daily routine can set off a ripple effect. For example, when you reduce plastic waste, others notice. And when they see how simple it is, they follow suit. This is how movements like the Zero Waste lifestyle gain momentum. According to a report by the Ellen MacArthur Foundation, the global economy generates over 300 million tons of plastic waste each year. If everyone made just one small change, like swapping plastic bags for reusable ones, we could cut that number significantly. Think about the power of buying organic products. By choosing organic, you're supporting sustainable farming practices that help preserve the environment. Did you know that organic farming uses 45% less energy and produces 40% fewer carbon emissions? Your purchasing power is your voice in this fight for sustainability. Individual actions often inspire others to act. It's like a domino effect. If you start biking to work instead of driving, your neighbor might think, "Hey, I could do that too." Before you know it, you've created a community of people committed to sustainable transportation. The more people see others making a change, the more they realize that it's achievable. Think of it this way, change doesn't require grand gestures. It starts with something as simple as turning off lights when you leave a room. Small, simple actions can inspire a wave of positive change. In fact, according to a study by the National Academy of Sciences, people are more likely to adopt environmentally friendly habits when they see others doing the same. Social influence plays a huge role in sustainable living. So, by taking action, you're not just helping the planet, you're also leading by example. Chapter 2: Power in your purchases. The surprising impact of consumer choices. What you buy has more power than you think. Every product you purchase carries an environmental footprint. For instance, the fashion industry accounts for 10% of global carbon emissions. By choosing sustainable brands, you're pushing companies to make better choices. Each dollar spent on eco-friendly products sends a message that there's demand for sustainability. One of the easiest ways to make a difference is by switching to sustainable clothing. Did you know that cotton farming uses 2.6% of the world's water? Yet, organic cotton uses up to 91% less water. It's a simple switch, but it helps save precious resources. Companies like Patagonia have proven that sustainability and success can go hand in hand. They've been advocating for eco-friendly practices for years, and their customer base has only grown because of it. The idea of supporting local businesses can also drastically reduce your carbon footprint. Foods grown locally don't require long-distance transportation, which cuts down on fossil fuel use. When you buy locally, you're not just supporting small businesses, you're also reducing the energy needed to ship products across the globe. It's not just about buying products, it's about buying less. According to a study by the Environmental Protection Agency, EPA, the average American household spends $5,000 annually on goods. Reducing consumption means less waste and less energy spent on manufacturing. Small steps, like opting for fewer, but higher quality items, go a long way. Also, take a minute to consider packaging. Plastic packaging is one of the biggest culprits of environmental pollution. On average, humans produce 8 million tons of plastic waste annually. You can reduce your personal plastic footprint by switching to reusable containers or choosing products with minimal packaging. Chapter 3: Zero Waste, Zero Guilt. Why perfect isn't the goal. When it comes to sustainability, perfection isn't the goal, progress is. Many people are overwhelmed by the idea of zero waste living, thinking it means never using plastic or producing any trash. In reality, it's about taking consistent steps toward reducing waste, not eliminating it completely. According to a study by the EPA, the average American produces about 4.9 pounds of trash per day. Even cutting that in half makes a huge impact. Start with small, achievable goals. Begin by composting food scraps, reducing food waste, or using reusable bags. The key here is consistency. When you focus on making one change at a time, it becomes less intimidating. Another misconception is that sustainable products are always more expensive. However, a report by the Consumer Reports National Research Center shows that 71% of people are willing to spend more on sustainable products if they last longer. So, investing in higher quality, long-lasting products can save money in the long run. The key to zero-waste living is adapting to your personal lifestyle. Maybe for you, it's reducing plastic waste. Or perhaps it's buying second-hand clothing. Each small decision contributes to a much bigger goal, reducing the overall environmental burden. It's also important to recognize that not every individual has the same resources or capabilities. For example, living in a large city might give you access to bulk stores or composting services. If you're in a rural area, your options might be different. The point is, you can still make a difference by focusing on what works for you. If you're finding this video helpful so far, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications for more tips on how to live sustainably. Chapter 4. Energy at your fingertips. Small habits to cut your carbon footprint. Cutting down on energy consumption is one of the simplest ways to help the planet. Simple habits, like unplugging electronics when they're not in use or using LED bulbs, make a big difference. Did you know that using energy-efficient appliances can reduce your electricity consumption by up to 30%? This translates into lower utility bills and fewer carbon emissions. Another area to focus on is heating and cooling. A study from the Department of Energy found that adjusting your thermostat by just 1 degree Fahrenheit can save up to 3% on your energy bill. In the winter, wear a sweater instead of cranking up the heat. In the summer, use fans instead of air conditioning. Small tweaks like this can make a big impact. Consider switching to renewable energy sources if you have the option. More than 18 million homes in the US are powered by solar energy, and the numbers keep growing. Solar energy alone could reduce carbon emissions by 100 million metric tons annually. You don't need to install solar panels to benefit, just supporting renewable energy providers makes a difference. One thing you may not think about is the energy used to build and maintain your home. If you're renovating or building from scratch, consider passive design strategies. For example, strategic window placement can reduce heating and cooling needs. These are energy-efficient solutions that make long-term impacts. Lastly, always think about the energy you're using to transport yourself. The average car emits over 4.6 metric tons of CO2 per year. By walking, biking, or using public transportation, you're cutting down on personal emissions and helping create a more sustainable world. Chapter 5. The secret ingredient. Sustainable living starts in the kitchen. Your kitchen is a goldmine for sustainability. Think about how much food is wasted globally, about 1/3 of all food produced. That's approximately 1.3 billion tons of food every year. Reducing food waste at home can make a big difference. By meal planning, buying only what you need, and using leftovers creatively, you can cut down on waste. Another easy strategy is switching to plant-based meals. According to a study by the United Nations, the livestock industry is responsible for 14.5% of global greenhouse gas emissions. By reducing your meat consumption, you're helping reduce that massive environmental burden. Even cutting down to one plant-based meal per week can make a noticeable impact. Buying organic produce is another simple yet effective change. Organic farming uses fewer pesticides, which means cleaner water and healthier ecosystems. A study from the Riddale Institute shows that organic farming systems can increase soil carbon storage by up to 30%. That's a lot of carbon kept out of the atmosphere. Don't forget about packaging. The food industry is notorious for excessive plastic packaging. A report from Greenpeace found that the food sector is one of the top contributors to single-use plastics. By buying in bulk or choosing items with minimal packaging, you can reduce your plastic footprint significantly. Lastly, consider growing your own food. Whether you have a small balcony or a large backyard, growing herbs or vegetables can cut down on your environmental impact. Plus, it's a fun and rewarding way to be more self-sufficient. Chapter 6. Amplifying your impact. Turning advocacy into action. Advocacy is a powerful tool for creating change. By simply sharing your sustainable living journey on social media or through word of mouth, you can inspire others to take action. According to a study by the Yale Program on Climate Change Communication, people are more likely to take climate action when they see others doing it. But advocacy doesn't stop at social media. Get involved in local sustainability efforts. Whether it's a community cleanup or supporting environmental policies, these grassroots movements amplify individual actions. The more voices that call for change, the harder it is for policymakers to ignore. Volunteering with local environmental organizations can also broaden your impact. Whether you're helping to plant trees, clean up rivers, or raise awareness, these activities not only make a direct impact but also connect you with like-minded individuals. One inspiring example is the Fridays for Future movement, started by climate activist Greta Thunberg. Her lone protest outside the Swedish parliament sparked a global movement, showing that one person's actions can lead to worldwide change. So, when you advocate for sustainability, you're not just spreading knowledge, you're sparking action. And when those actions multiply, they begin to shape society's broader environmental priorities. If you enjoyed this video and want more simple tips on living sustainably, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell.